Hi, this is Caleb Strite of the Record Argus. I'm on the west side of Greenville right now. We've been trying to do some different things with video recently, and so I had an idea to give you a little Halloween tour of Greenville real quick. So again, I'm up here on the West Main Hill in Greenville by the Watt House at one of my favorite Halloween displays in town. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Some interesting touches here, like the skeleton over here holding a can of liquid death. I think what's maybe most interesting though is the tentacles, the inflatable tentacles coming out of the house, making it look like the house is filled with an actual octopus. There's a headless horseman, there's some zombies, it's a big werewolf, a graveyard, got a little bit of everything. I'm hoping this isn't too noisy or bumpy. I'm on a bike to cover as much ground as possible. So we're not far away from the Margaret Brown School, not too far away from the Watt House. We've got some moaning and groaning of zombies here. I'm going to start rolling towards the Watt House. Gotta warn you, it might be a little bumpy. In Greenville, still have some brick streets, which may be helpful for ambiance, but maybe not that great for riding bicycles. At the Watt House, got a little Halloween touch recently, in that it was one of the scenes in SpookT, the horror movie that was filmed in Greenville. It's streaming right now on Tubi. Yeah, if you haven't got a chance to watch it yet, it's a pretty cool movie created by some Greenville natives at the core and some current Greenville people. Again, this is the Watt House, and in SpookT, one of the main characters, Rachel, she comes up from Atlanta. She's a YouTuber that specializes in debunking ghost stories and things of that nature. And there's an active ghost story here in the movie that she works to debunk. And we'll take you to the SpookT house where that all takes place. Talk about some of the other SpookT backstory and other local ghost stories. While she's at the Watt House, it's called the Greenville Welcome Center in the movie. There's a little area of the Welcome Center devoted to the Lady with the Lantern, which is an actual local ghost story. Director Tony Reeves was well aware of and drew on for inspiration. It said that out in Delaware Township on Bile Hill Road, there's a woman with a lantern. Records show that she did exist. She was involved in a carriage accident she died in, and her children as well, and she has come back with a lantern to try to find her children. They say you can see the lantern floating in air. We're going to try to get back on Greenville's Main Street by dodging some traffic. Main Street will be packed this Saturday at 2 o'clock. It's the annual Chamber Greenville Parade. It's a really great parade. My family goes every year. You can actually get more candy watching the parade than you might even trick-or-treating. So we come up on Padroni's here, which for me has a little Halloween angle in that it has this great commercial, that little Halloween theme. They do this take on Ghostbusters. Mom makes food and they don't look good. Who are you gonna call? Padroni's. Quite a few storefronts decorated for Halloween as well. I was going to mention too, another stop on Spook is Herbert's Hardware, which is right here. Claire, who's another one of the main characters, she's a native and a little less skeptical of the ghost stories. She's trying to help some local people get to the bottom of them too, to see what the truth is. She stops in for what you might consider her pretty successful trip to Herbert's. They've got a little bit of everything, so she gets a flashlight, some batteries, some maple syrup. Because as she says, I like pancakes. We're working our way up Main Street. We're going to go to Central Park. A bunch of food decorated scarecrows are up. Part of the Chamber's annual contest. Gotta find a place to cross here. Let's give you a look at some of these cool scarecrows. Got St. Clement's falling for fall. Edgewood Surgical over here. Got Beetlejuice. Grim Reaper. Dr. Bite from Reeves. Strawbert from 72-6 Lawn and Landscape. Not going to hit all of them, but there's a lot of cool entries here. There's community counseling. So the name of the haunted house, we'll call it a haunted house, in Spook, is the Gibson House. And there are actually two Gibson houses in northern Mercer County, but the one that is used as the Gibson house isn't actually the one. So we're going to show you one of those houses here. And make sure they came on Tony's radar because it has the story itself. Looks like there's a lawnmower running up here, so we might get a chance to take too much of a look at it. And you may not be able to hear me too, so we'll see. So this is one of the actual Gibson houses on Main Street in Greenville. So the ghost story with that Gibson house was it was owned by a prominent Greenville family roughly 2 centuries ago. And sadly, the son of the family, and he was a veteran himself, he actually shot himself on accident while cleaning a gun in the house. And with all that tragic history, it's believed that the house may be haunted. The other Gibson house, it's not always known as the Gibson House, sometimes the Gibson Manor, sometimes Park Lane Manor. It's in Jamestown. And it was owned originally by Dr. Gibson. It's been called the Mark Twain Manor because he was a friend. Dr. Gibson was a friend of Mark Twain. And so there's some thought that it might be haunted because in his home at that time, that's where he performed his medicine. And so people surely passed away as he tried to save them. It has a really rich history too, though, that the house on what you might consider the main street in Jamestown was actually called Liberty Street, because it was actually stopped on the Underground Railroad as well. If you ever get a chance, go ahead and stop up there, because they do tours, Underground Railroad tours there. Really interesting nooks and crannies, and you know, it's American history right in your backyard if you live here in northern Mercer County. Also, to be completely honest, it just feels kind of spooky this time of year. I've been out there several times on or near Halloween, and the deer park is just up the road. And when you hear a lion bellow out of nowhere on a dark, gloomy night in Jamestown, which is otherwise a very lovely community, it just feels a little spooky. And speaking of spooky, we're just about to the Spook House. Somewhat surprising, it's right across the street from an average run-of-the-mill Rite Aid. Just got to get across Columbia. So we went up Main Street. We're getting to Columbia right now. Oh my gosh. Just gonna make sure I don't wreck. So look at this house. Corner of Columbia and Chambers in Greenville. I think you buy that this house is haunted. I think that's why they chose it. A little old, run down, moss on the roof, paint peeling, gutters bent, a couple broken windows. Otherwise in a very calm neighborhood. I actually used to live across the street. It's a pretty friendly place. Not actually haunted from what I know, from my personal experiences, but it's a pretty cool story that the Spook team put together, that a Dr. Byler used to live here and was experimenting with some very old, perhaps ancient, questionable Amish techniques to help his patients, perhaps even bring them back. And is he still dead? Is he alive? I mean, that's one of the questions that we deal with here, and a lot of action, it's pretty intense at the end here. And if you like horror movies, if you like that kind of thing, it's really great. Really enjoy it, especially to see the Greenville community is really highlighted in the movie too, which is cool. So we're going to try to go up here, down Columbia just a little bit further to hit one more stop. A lot of great houses, but this is another one of the best ones. It's right handy, so we'll hit it as well. Thought about doing a big route of cool houses in Greenville because there are so many. We'll stick with this for today. You know, we're experimenting with some stuff. If you like this, let us know. This is too bumpy. I get it. If you have suggestions, ideas, let us know. We're trying to do some unique, different things. So again, 4 to 6 on Saturdays, trick or treat here in Greenville. And this part of town is just going to be packed with trick or treaters. It's got to be one of the best places in Mercer County to trick or treat. Everyone here is very friendly and welcoming. A lot of people. It's really just a great afternoon. So this is one of my favorites here in Greenville. The theme here is very clear. It's clowns. We've got a big skeleton as well, though. It's even spookier at night, but it might be too spooky for you, so easier to do during the day here. Lots of sound effects. We got Pennywise, the It Clown back there. Also, we're coming up to a ticket booth where a newer clown, Terrifier, is in there. He is very terrifying. And some other clowns. It's right here on Columbia in Greenville between Clinton and Plum. And we have a lot more coverage of the Halloween season coming up, so be sure to pick up the Record Argus. Yeah, we always appreciate your support of local journalism, and let us know what we could be doing better. Thank you, and have a happy Halloween.